How's it going, movie lovers? It is time for Clips rating number 2, this time on Ready or Not. Now let me just say, my prediction was right. This was a absolutely great movie. Oh my gosh, it blew me away. Well, it's not like the best movie ever, but it was a lot more than I was expecting, and it was so much better than anything I had hoped for. Now again, in this I won't spoil anything, but let me just tell you, the plot was so fun. It was original. It had kind of a serious tone to it because of the concepts that were in the movie, but it was still ridiculous at the same time, so it wasn't too far off to either side, and it worked well together. There were a couple parts where the comedy pushed through a little bit too strong, and I felt like it messed with, the movement of the plot, but then again, it's kind of what you came for in the movie, so I'm not complaining by it. And as I normally don't trust the advertisements on TV, they weren't lying this time. It does have a good twist at the end. I mean, it's a twist you probably will expect, but it's a good twist, and I'm happy it went the way it did. I'm just saying, it's well worth the watch. And let me just tell you, my favorite character is the lead character. She did such a great job with how she played that character. It tied the whole movie together, and she made that movie so much more enjoyable. She did a great job portraying every emotion. And it kept you gripped in the thrill of that movie. The sounds were all extremely solid. I loved the tracks that were in there. I mean, obviously there was some regular horror filler, but it worked with the movie. It's not too original, but it was well placed and it all worked. And then there's that one original track that I just look for in a movie that makes it that much better, that you just remember the movie by. You think of that song and you think of that movie, and they had it in there. So overall, they did a great job with the music too. It's this fun story this dark story of love versus family, and it's just so fun to watch. I highly recommend, if you have some free time and you're going to go see a movie, if you like horror, go see that. Especially if you're into the gore of the horror. It wasn't to the highest extreme of gore, but there's a decent amount of gore in that movie. Enough to be a little unsettled and just ties the whole movie together. I loved all the characters in that movie too. There was not a character I hated, and if there was a character I hated, it's because you're supposed to hate the character, like he's the villain. But all the characters were really solid. I loved it. They even had a lot of decent shots in that movie, making it even more fun to watch. Honestly, this is a really solid horror movie. I really like the setting of it too. It's a dark, creepy sort of mansionist thing, but it's because it's a rich family, but it really tied the whole thing together. If it was placed anywhere else, I don't see that working out very well. It's kind of this sick, twisted plot, this sick, twisted game that was just so fun to watch. Don't get me wrong, it's a really dark film. It's still a real fun watch, as long as you like horror. If you don't like horror, I would not recommend going to see it. It's pretty far in there, but if you're for a horror movie, go see it. Go see it. It's also a fairly short film, being an hour and 34 minutes. It's kind of nonstop action in a sense. Nothing really stops. It's a quick build-up, and then it gets into the action real fast there. So if it would have been any longer, I don't think I would have been able to get through it, but it's just the perfect length, and I like knowing a movie can cut itself off when it's out of its content, sort of thing. So that even worked very well for it, being a shorter film. I will say, though, the fear factor sort of thing is more tied with a thriller. You're going to be more on the edge of your seat waiting for something to happen, not exactly, scared about to run out of the theater. So it would be an easier horror movie to get through if you don't really like horror. I will say the gore again. If you don't like the violence and the intenser gore, I probably wouldn't go see this. But if you can get through the gore and you just don't like the scary, if you just don't like scary imagery, you'll probably be fine with this one. The movie definitely stands out as its own thing though, so it makes it that much more enjoyable to watch. It's fairly original. I see no issue with it. I get there are obviously going to be similarities between all these kinds of movies, but I think it is its own thing, and it'll be a pretty good. It'll stand out on its own. So, just for an overall enjoyment score, I'll give it a 43 out of 50, just for overall enjoyment. And I'll do a full Clips review, of course, when it comes out on Blu-ray. But until then, I'm Clips, and that's a wrap.